In my country, if you throw a stone into a crowd, probably 9 out of 10 people you hit is a CEO. In other words, we have a lot of very entrepreneurial businessmen. Their companies may not be very big, but they're very solid and making a lot of money. So the economy is very, very viable, vibrant.
If
you work hard, you can attain a good life in Taiwan. It's much easier if you're a couple working because there's a dual income. But if there is a single income, it can be harder, especially when you're trying to provide for your family and secure a good education for your children. In all, life in Taiwan is good. Prices are high, but once again, if you are a two-income household, it's easier in this area also.
For the family income, I think the average income is about $1,500 per person in Taipei. A person in a family, their income. So the cost of living, you can say it's very other cities in Taiwan or in Asia. I think it's number 2 in Asia, if I remember correctly.
The 21st century will be a time when the right to a quality life and refinement.
There are always two sides to every issue, and there is a flip side of a coin. That concluded that with democracy and rapid economic growth come new stresses on daily life. Aside from the politics, there is a private side of Taiwan that seeks its democracy with a better quality of life.
They are very politically sensitive, but during the daily life, they don't like politics, I think, because they care more about their daily life, the children's education problems, the traffic in Taipei, and the air pollutions, and their incomes, their jobs, their futures.
We have compulsory education up to 9. But basically, Taiwanese families invest a lot for children's education. Many children have the opportunity to go abroad for higher education, so they are very much internationalized.
Because the population is so high in Taiwan, there's more competition for spots in good schools. Our government needs to address the problems parents face in competing for a good education for their children. They should provide more opportunities. If you want to enter the university, your chance is 6 out of 10%. You have a chance to get into the university, but it's hard.
We have an educational system here where every child receives 9 years of junior school. As an educator, I feel they need 12 years. There's nearly no illiteracy, and 80% of the students will enter the university. For me, the issue is quality of that education. I think that the measures that would vary the style of our education.
In the past, the children, they have to take an entrance examination, and nation will decide which school you will go to in the future. After this program, this new program is implemented. It's kind of like the U.S. systems. You can apply for different schools, and your grade will be decided by different tests, not just one test to decide your whole future.
For Taiwan, the environment is a big problem. Taiwan is very small, but we have millions of people. We also have many plants, like the nuclear facility. We have many businesses that are not environmentally conscious, and that is very crucial to the island's well-being.
For 4 decades, Taiwan has enjoyed the industrial development, but the growth has been at a cost to its environment. Today, the people of Taiwan are seeking a quality of life that is equal to their level of economic achievement. With its high concentration of traffic and industrial plants, air pollution has become one of the more serious problems in Taiwan. By the end of the 90s, according to EPA reports, vehicle exhaust made up more than 95% of the air pollution in Taipei. The other concern for the environment in Taiwan is its increase in solid waste.
We have to touch our garbage first. Because according to our estimate, the citizens in Taipei, they produce the trash about 1.1 kilogram per day. We have to change the charge of garbage disposal from the water usage to the trash collection fees with the garbage bags. Once people have to use the garbage bags they buy from the convenience stores and from different places, you have to pay for the garbage you produce. According to this program, if it can be implemented successfully, people will reduce their garbage dramatically.
Environmentally, in the past, we have garbage problem, we have air pollution, but more and more paid to all this problem.
I would like to see Taiwan and China become two friendly neighbors and embrace each other.
Because of the economic development, make people have more luxurious the time or money, and they can think about more about their own life.
We're very proud of this recent peaceful transition of government, and we really do anticipate it will bear changes in our civilization.
Here in Taiwan, there is another blossom in its flourishing democracy, and her name is Annette Lu. In the Republic of China's 10th direct presidential election, the people of Taiwan achieved a milestone for gender equality in government when they elected their first female vice president. For Lu, the victory comes with years of struggle. She spent 5.5 years in prison on charges of treason. She pioneered the feminist movement. She battled a serious illness, and twice she was almost given away as a child. Through the many personal, social, and political challenges, it has been her perseverance
that has helped her go from prison to power.
June 7th, 1944, Annette Lu entered the world facing a major challenge. Her obstacle was to escape a cultural tradition that would separate her from her birth family.
It was a common practice for the ordinary family to have their young daughters sold out. When I was little, there were twice that I was almost sold out by my parents, simply because the other families were richer than mine. So my parents said, well, maybe our daughter could have better life. But thanks to my brother and sisters' kindness, they prevent me from being adopted. Then my father told my mother, well, this girl belongs to us, so try to educate her as much as possible. Ever since then, they educated me to become not only a good student, but a good speaker.
The young girl who was almost adopted out soon became the focus of her family's attention. Her father often read to her, prompting her to excel in her studies. Her mother, who managed the house and helped run the family business, inspired Lu to believe women could have a place in society and the home.
My brother was so fond of politics, so he went to attend the campaign rally. He brought me, and he read the newspaper to me with big names like President Roosevelt and Eisenhower, all these names, no matter whether I understood or not. And my brother told me the story of great person. Most of them are men, and most of them are politicians. So I have my ambition to become a great politician when I was just a little girl. I really thankful my brother and sister for their kindness to educate me.
After finishing Harvard Law School in 1978, Lu returned home to Taiwan as her country faced the termination of U.S.-Taiwan diplomatic relations. This time marked the start of Annette Lu's battle for gender equality, Taiwanese democracy, and human rights. It would earn her the title of political dissident, as she became a loud voice against the politics of the ruling Kuomintang party. In 1979, she delivered a speech on human rights, now known as the Kaohsiung Incident. She was jailed on charges of sedition and sentenced to 12 years in prison.
You were imprisoned. What did you do during that time? I know you kept the struggle in your heart, but how did you retain the zeal to go on?
Altogether, I spent 1,933 days in the lock prison. Certainly, there are a lot of experiences. At first, the first 100 days was totally incommunicado interrogation, day in and day out. A group of men and women kept interpreting me. That certainly was humiliating, horrible, and even not brutal. It's really humiliating and unendurable. I wish I would have died. My case was reported worldwide, and a group of teachers and students from the University of New Mexico in Albuquerque decided to adopt me as prisoner of conscience. They made endless effort for 6 years to rescue me out. And they never thought that Annette Lu would become vice president.
We started off as a group of 3, 4, 5 people in a very small amnesty group in Albuquerque, New Mexico. We found out about her case, we researched it, we sent it to London. London researched it thoroughly to make sure there wasn't any political involvement or violence or anything else, sent it back to us and asked us if we'd like to adopt it. We sent out hundreds of thousands of postcards from all over the world, and that's one of the postcards. And we contacted all sorts of people. We helped to get articles in the Wall Street Journal and Ms. Magazine. We spoke to lots of people who wanted to hear us and lots who didn't want to hear us. And they paroled her after 6 years, and we were so delighted.
Do you have any regrets from over the years?
When I was arrested and put in the lock jail, I regret the education received from my father. So I told my father, I whispered to my father, in fact, He passed away years ago. However, I whispered to my father, spiritually, Father, did you regret to educate your little girl to become a politician, knowing that she was in black jail?
Lu was released early from prison with the help of Amnesty International. However, her freedom came as a result of a crisis. She was released on medical parole.
At the age of 30, all of a sudden, I was told that I suffer from thyroid carcinoma. I had an operation. I thought that I would have died. But when I had my eyes open, and I say, thank to God, I have my second life.
After emerging from prison and beating cancer, Annette intensified her fight for human rights. She rekindled her quest for gender equality for the women of Taiwan. Not to forget her sisters abroad, Lu, sponsored by Amnesty International, traveled the world making speeches on human rights and women's equality. In 1987, she established the North American Taiwanese Women's Association.
There are about 40 women all over the United States and Canada. We get together. Annette told us that we have to organize. We have to form a Taiwanese women's organization, in U.S. because we have too much manpower. It couldn't be wasted. But of course, at that time, women's already get into politics, helping out with a lot. But Annette want to bring us to the front line. We want to promote, of course, the equality between men and women, and we really want to promote also human rights and democracy. And at that time, we also feel like not only human rights and democracy in Taiwan, but globally. And we want to also network with other women.
Today, for the women of Taiwan, the name Annette Lu is synonymous with the word liberation.
She is the pioneer of the women's movement in Taiwan. Because she is a lawyer, she can help provide many protections for women. Ms. Lu is very important to us. She is the first one that concentrated on this vital subject of women's rights. Annette Lu is the founder of the feminist movement. She has totally dedicated herself to the welfare and freedoms of women. She always says, when we fix up the kitchen, we should remember to walk out of the kitchen and to do something to fix our society. Because of her character and dedication, women have come to support her and vote. Women are concerned with the social affairs of these times.
What's been the most exciting thing on the whole campaign trail for you?
Women are so excited. And all of a sudden, they feel they want to participate. They want to have their voice heard.
You're an international role model for women across the world. What is your responsibility to that position?
Certainly, one of my missions is to share all the equality and achievement with my sisters, nationally and internationally. In 1994, I hosted the global Summit for Women here in Taipei. The following year, I invite women leaders to discuss world peace. And I think it's time for all women to take advantage of our nature, love and peace for Earth.
How will you advance the welfare of women here on the island, bringing their issues to light? What will you do there?
Nearly 30 years ago, it was I who began to advocate the idea of gender equality. By then, women were discouraged from attending universities, and many other discriminatory practices were considered to be common. But now one can see big difference has been made. Economically, more and more women become not only managers but also entrepreneurs. And educational absolutely equal. Female students and male students are almost 50-50 in many areas. Politically, not good enough. However, female legislators occupy near 20% in our Congress. And in the municipal city of Taipei, the capital, women, the city council women occupy over 1/3 and Speaker as a woman as well. And I began to found the women's movement. It really to march into the president's office. So all this indicated that much progress has been made, although not good enough in the area of domestic violence, in the area of safety, personal safety of women. Where certainly I'll try my best to help them enjoy freedom and dignity.
As an activist, Annette Lu brought awareness to the issues of human rights, but it would be her political career as a senator, magistrate, mayor of Taoyuan that would help make changes in government, changes that would in turn improve the quality of life. In her official positions, she would lead the battle to clean up corruption in government, namely vote buying. She would lobby for Taiwan's entry into the United Nations and fight for Taiwan's independence from China. The quest for independence would be a conflict that would follow her to her new position of vice president.
Chen Shui-bian and I will bring to Taiwan a government of people, by the people, and for the people. A government that fosters respect for human rights and the rule of law. A government that is free of corruption and cronyism. A government that is truly accountable to her citizens. We will ensure the stability of our open and free society and the health of our country's thriving market economy. We will also create a new era of goodwill and lasting peace with China and all our neighbors.
What does this administration consider to be the most pressing problem for Taiwan?
Internationally, we have to release the tension from Beijing. We have to enhance our mutual understanding. We have to promote our substantial relationship and cooperation. As soon as possible, we are sincerely to work for that goal. There's one China. Yes, just like there's one United States. The problem is, what is the relationship between Taiwan and China? Does Taiwan belong to China? Does Taiwan belong to People's Republic of China? That is a matter of international law.
During the campaign, Lu's Democratic Progressive Party ran on the issue of Taiwan's independence. After the DPP victory, military threats from mainland China softened their position.
It's self-evident the Taiwan issue is an international issue. In particular, it's a very important issue for regional security and stability in Asian Pacific. It's certainly a major issue for the national interest of the United States as well. So I do not believe that China would really launch any military invasion over Taiwan. However, they very likely would try to harass Taiwan, to humiliate Taiwan, and to do whatever they feel useful to threaten Taiwan. That's something I urge serious concern from world leaders.
各位友邦元首，各位贵宾，各位亲爱的海内外同胞。
With Vice President Annette Lu by his side, President Chen Shui-bian, in his inauguration speech, declared what some would say is an ambiguous stand on the One China policy. Critics concluded that the new administration did not abandon the campaign platform on independence, nor did it embrace total reunification.
I must abide by the Constitution, maintain the sovereignty, dignity, and security of our country, and ensure the well-being of all citizens. Therefore, as long as the CCP regime has no intention to use military force against Taiwan, I pledge that during my term in office, I will not declare independence. I will not change the national title. I will not push forth the inclusion of the so-called state-to-state description in the Constitution. And I will not promote a referendum to change the status quo in regards to the question of independence or unification. Furthermore, the abolition of the National Reunification Council or the National Reunification Guidelines will not be an issue.
Now, the DPP, the incoming, ruling party, they are rather reluctant to, they prefer not to be reunified with China forever. They want to sort of, hopefully, it's going to permanent separation. We think that's very, it's impractical because China would never give up its dream of reunification, with us. So we should not rock the boat, so to speak, too violently across the strait. But first we maintain the status quo. Then, if eventually China, because of its economic liberalization, hopefully we'd like to see a political democratization to emerge.
Here in Taiwan, we have people, we have territory, we have constitution, we have our government. So in fact, Taiwan has been an independent sovereignty state. In 1996, for the first time in Taiwan's history, that people were allowed to elect the president. And this year is the second election. Everybody believes, understands that it's only an independent sovereignty that has president-elect. So we have been independent with or without recognition. This is our understanding of the situation, and we sincerely urge the whole world be aware that Taiwan has been independent from China. However, we are more than happy to admit that there is a special relationship between China, namely, we are relatives, we are neighbors.
大家好，大家知道今天是圣诞节。
You've made history. Can you tell me, what does it feel like to be the first female vice president of Taiwan?
Well, I have been #1 throughout my life for many things, so this is just one of them. Well, of course, historically, I'm the first woman to be generally elected as the vice president in 5,000 Chinese history.
What kind of vice president will you be?
Vice president has two functions. #1, to wait to succeed if something happened. In that case, certainly, I don't have any chance because the president-elect, Chen Shui-bian, is very young, very healthy, and very energetic. However, my ordinary function is to assist him under his command, so I'm prepared to assist him in whatever I can. I'm so proud to tell you that our President-elect, Chen Shui-bian, is one of most emancipated men. He insisted to invite me to become his running mate last year, and he is very comfortable to have me serving as his political advisor.
With a legislative body composed predominantly of opposition party members, the new presidential team may be facing major challenges.
There are many obstacles before us because Taiwan has been ruled by the same party, namely KMT or Chinese Nationalist Party, for 55 years. One can imagine how much political pollution that need to be cleaned up. Corruption, violence, or we call black money politics, is one of the major problems ahead of us. We certainly swear to make every effort possible to clean up the politics.
Vice President Annette Lu has often been described as a person with determination and strong opinions. While her focus is now on being a productive vice president, she hasn't abandoned her first role as a leader for women's rights. Case in point, just ask her about having to choose between home and careers.
Well, did you ever ask a man that he has to choose between career and home? If no, the answer is no. Certainly for a new century, women shouldn't be asked this question. I think career and family life are not exclusive. It should be inclusive.
爱不爱李秀莲？连该正是李秀莲。总统好，总统好。
The political victory of Annette Lu establishes the start of a new era of party rotation and combined rule by both men and women in Taiwan. For women of Taiwan and the world, it is a true victory of democracy and gender equality. If you ask Vice President Annette Lu what's her next step, she will simply say, it's the step I've taken throughout life. I will continue to stand for democracy, equality, and freedom. From the Republic of China, I'm Doris Childress. Good night.
She is a role model from Taiwan to Taiwan as well, in every kind of the struggle for the woman, the politics, and society changing, and as an international politics as well. And I think she's done a great job for us. And I think she could put Taiwan in the world's map.
She is just very different from other women at her age. She was very determined, she was strong. She is a woman with vision, and she speaks her mind.
For them, the younger generation of today, it means that women can become vice president and even one day the president of our country. There are opportunities as long as you would fight for them. If you're determined, you'll have the opportunity.
She just brings that new thought into at that time, very conservative Taiwanese society. She encourages us to become a human being first, then become a woman.
She's a wonderful success story, really, to go from the maggots and cockroaches and hunger and illness of this prison situation to where she is today. It offers us all hope. You know, it makes us all feel that we really can get out there and just work a little bit harder.